Nigerian government must pay for the Lekki massacre. What happened at Lekki Toll Gate is not acceptable anywhere in the world. We lawyers are ready to ensure that this does not slide. Femi Falana. Hello, my wonderful people. Femi Falana is a human rights lawyer activist who speaks against wrongdoing. He speaks against every wrongdoing, and is very, he's very determinant and focused on this cause. He will not keep quiet and allow evil to happen. Femi Falana is saying what has gone on is not acceptable in any way, form, or kind. And so Nigerian government must pay. Since the Lekki, the report of the panel came out, it's a shame that the federal government has not officially said a word. Buhari only said something because with United States, America's Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, came to Nigeria and spoke about the same panel's report and says all those who have been found guilty must be held responsible. That was when Buhari said, yes, it will start from the state before it gets to the federal. Other than that, they've not really sympathized with the victims, empathized to say that they understand what happened, because when you are the culprit, what do you do? Please do not forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe if this is your first time. Thank you. Nigerian government must pay for what happened at Lekki Toll Gate. The massacre will not go sly. Nigerian lawyers are ready to ensure this happens. Without any provocation whatsoever, soldiers opened fire on protesters. Some of the protesters were killed, while others were injured. It was a case of what Fela Ani Kokpoti once referred to as sorrows, tears, and blood. For several years, the human rights community has called for prosecution of the operative of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad over incensed arrest, detention, torture, extrajudiciary killing of citizens. As such calls were ignored by the authority, the SARS intensified and the brutalization of citizens, particularly young people. The video of the reckless killing of an armed young man in Delta State sometime in the first week of October 2020 by Tega Happy SARS officers went viral and led to spontaneous street protests in many states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. In its initial reaction to the protests, the federal government announced that SARS will undergo some reform. Since the government had ignored the report of many administrative panel that made a strong case for police reform in the past years, the youths destabilized the authority who did not know what to do. Since the government had ignored the report of many administrative panel that made strong case for police reports, in the recent past, the young youths destabilized the authorities. They continued the peaceful protest and demand for the immediate disbandment of the SARS. Having regards to the popularity of the protests, they spread like a bonfire in the Hamatan. The immediate past Inspector General of Police, Mr. Abubakar Adamu, announced the dissolution of the notorious SARS and replaced it with Special Weapon Act tactics. At that junction, the federal government hurriedly released report of the Presidential Panel on Human Rights Abuse by Police, which has been submitted since 2018, and directed the police authority to dismiss indicated officers and prosecute those who have engaged in illegal execution of criminal suspects and other citizens. Furthermore, the federal government and the various state governments instituted Judiciary Commission of Inquiry to probe sundry allegations of police brutality, which has been ignored over the years. In accordance with the directives and the National Economic Council, notwithstanding that the protests were acknowledged to be peaceful, the federal government became frustrated that they were not called off in other places, in Oyo State, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, at Delta State, Benin, and other places. The police killed scores of protesters without any basis. In Lagos and Abuja, the protesters were attacked by a gang of hired thugs. The the protesters promptly arrested, and huge crowd took over the streets more, and the persecution of more protesters continued. When the government got really, really frustrated on October the 20th, youths were on the streets at the Lekki Toll Gate to continue the Endsars protest, waving the Nigerian flag and singing the national anthem. Without any provocation whatsoever, the soldiers opened fire on the protesters. Some of the protesters were killed, while others were injured. It was a case of what Femi and Nico Puti once referred to as sorrow, tears, and blood, as the killing of unarmed protesters defied the ruling of engagement of Nigerian army forces, and the army headquarters became embarrassed and denied the troop were present at the Lekki Toll Gate. But that did not end there, as CNN got in and explained what really happened. Alhaji Lai Mohammed said there was never any killing of anybody, no name, and those who were killed should come out. However, panel was put together. At the end of the day, the truth is out. Lai Mohammed has been as silent and has not said a word. The federal government has not said anything. And now that the panel report is out, they are threatening the people and attacking them. This will not go down alone. We will make sure that everyone who is being indicted in that very report gets and pay for all that they have done. Nigerian government will pay for this, and this will not go unnoticed. So my people, this is what is happening. Femi Falana, when he takes a matter up, he takes it up. And guess what he's saying? We are going to ensure, that this matter do not lie down, unnoticed and, goes like that. It's not going to happen. They've done it before. They've gotten away with it. But we're not going to allow these things to happen. Do you know that this SARS has been committing crime, killing people? But Nigerian government has never said anything because there are no records as to accountability, who checks what, who makes sure that things are done decently and in order. There is no such thing going on. People just do things anyhow, and sadly they get away with it. If Nigerian youth has not come out that period, only God knows what would have been happening now. You dress well, you are a target. You see, these are some of the things going on. Please do not forget to give us a thumbs up, like us, share, subscribe. God bless you. Have a fantastic day. Bye for now.